DC's Creature Commandos, Episode 3, a day late and a dollar short. That's on my part for losing track of scheduling. But man, there were some heavy hitting scenes in this episode. Let's talk about it. All right, guys, Brent here back with Variants. Cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, joining me as always, the man, the myth, the Marvel, one of the biggest fans of Mr. James Gunn. How do you feel about Creature Commandos coming into Episode 3?
Look, man, I'm happy. I'm happy. James Gunn has been doing work. He's been doing work since Guardians of the Galaxy, and probably before that. I got to go look at some of his early work, but freaking look, I've been happy with ever since I found out about who James Gunn is. He's been fantastic. Freaking the show is fantastic. I love how the characters are fleshed out, and we're getting these backgrounds in the process of the actual story going on. So, and it's real nice. Like there was one scene in here where it was like a seamless transition, from current to the past, and I loved it. So yeah, great work. Great work is being done. I'm very happy with it.
Like, whoever is doing like the behind the scenes setup for shot to shot and how everything is basically set up is absolutely brilliantly storyboard. It is fantastically done. And I wasn't expecting to come into this series really to be like enthralled with the characters. Episode 2, I already had two favorite characters, Dr. Phosphorus and the Tin Man, GI Robot. And come to find out, this was the episode where we got to learn all about the Tin Man. And I gotta say, the more I've learned about him, the more I really seem to enjoy the character and the more complex he is, even for how basic his personality is. Because he's about one thing and about one thing only. And that's wrecking those who were bad during WW2, just to put it, as bluntly as possible. That is his MO in everything. And the minute he's allowed to go out and take care of his initiative, man, you see that big goofy grin and you just kind of feel a little bit warmer inside as GI Robot is just dispelling some justice out there to the masses. And I got to say, it was fantastic to see because we kind of started off this episode. We were looking for Nina, we were looking for the bride. And ultimately, it turns out that was just all part of an elusive trap. Cersei sprang on everybody just to get everyone in this one focal location. How do you think that all played out for our heroes?
I think it played out well in terms of they got the band back together, and they were able to again unleash GI to freaking handle business. He finally got to do what he wanted to do, so that was great for him. And Cersei got some talking to. So I think it worked out pretty well on their end to start things off. The princess, she was having some issues. So
She had a really, really rough time. As we kind of pan back to our heroes, they were running around the castle. Chaos was ensuing. They, of course, arrived late because, being fashionably late is just so the move in hero movies. You just kind of have to arrive at the very last nick of time where everything is just, you're just almost a smidge late. But at the same time, the princess has been running from the Sons of Themyscira for like the last 20, 30 minutes. This girl has been busy. And of course, every guy that sees her oogling, his jaws dropping, crass comments left, right, and center. And of course, she gets a slap right on the rear from one of the larger gentlemen, who, let's just say, he's not much of a gentleman. But ultimately, she is able to handle a lot of business, all things concerned, because that scratch across that one dude's face, that looked serious. How do you feel about her now that we've kind of got to know a little bit more about her?
well, first off, that was like a weasel level scratch. That was pretty good. So she got a heck of a nail tech, but I do think that she has been proven to handle herself. She's got backup plans. She's got things to adjust and make sure that she can still survive. And she's not just like the damsel in distress, even though she kind of plays it when she's around, you know, big dog freaking Rick and stuff. But for the most part, if something goes south, she's trying to figure out how to escape, how to get out of it, and how to keep moving. But the twist at the end, in regards to her, is kind of wild. So we got to just kind of see where it goes.
Yeah, because I really wasn't expecting her to ultimately be, someone that was as focal to the plot as she's kind of turned out to be. And the fact that she had that whole hidden safe like even in her like back bedroom that she took so long to get to was crazy. It's like she was trying to choose everything but violence, but when violence was presented, she chose it and she chose it semi willingly. Like she wasn't really sure how like it worked, but she was able to get the job done when the time came for push to be shoved. Because one guy right through the chin, out through the temple. The other guy, well, he got right in the sternum, and
He got his heart
he
broken.
only had time to say, "Oh no," and then that was it. Ultimately, then only for Cersei to show up and kind of reassert her dominance, because like we got this flashback of GI Robot and kind of see that he's had a really really tragic life. He's been passed on from owner to owner to owner for about 30 or 40 years. He ultimately ends up in a collector's hand who you think is a good individual. Turns
Oh,
out he is a whole problem.
how dumb do you have to be to know the history of GI Robot and what he was made for? You're a collector, so you do your research, right? And
I
you
do.
take that thing to a very specific event and you don't expect something to happen? Like, come on. That man was not thinking clearly.
That man had a death wish. He wanted out, and he wanted out in the soonest way possible. And the fact that he thought, maybe if I just override him with friendship or in the power of cats, I don't know. But ultimately, everyone kind of got what was basically coming to them in just a sense of the word. You put someone who was a little loose, just gonna put that out there, in a bad situation that ultimately was going to play out one of two ways. And well, option one was far more efficient for GI Robot. Let's put it that way. But unfortunately, our grand new hero, as we finally got to get to know him, as we do with all great James Gunn characters, as soon as you fall in love with them, they're ripped forcibly away from you. But this time by a Themysciran problem known as Cersei, who then goes ahead and tries to attack the princess and eventually kind of gets the boot thanks to the most unlikely hero I could have predicted.
She got a bite taken out of her, and it was great.
The
Yeah.
fact Weasel. Weasel of all people, man. Talk to them about Weasel.
Weasel came out the gate like he ran through that building, came out the window where she was floating at, and started taking chunks out of Cersei. Like he literally, scratched her up. Like he hit the face, he hit the chest, he hit the waist. He was basically tearing up that torso. And then when she fell to the ground, something like that, unrelenting, something like that, freaking all back of the legs, like he was just literally tearing her butt up, like without freaking remorse. And in the process of that, freaking your boy came in to give her a facelift, and it was beautiful.
I thought for almost certain that like Dr. Phosphorus had ended Cersei, but then I was like, I kind of remember it's like, oh yeah, she's Themysciran. It's gonna take a little bit more than that to put her down for any certain period of time because if she can go toe to toe with Wonder Woman and the Bride and now Dr. Phosphorus and Weasel and still be up and not only active, but literally saying now you've doomed the fate of the entire world. What does that even mean? Is she really been the good guy?
I don't know. It means something with the princess. Like she's trying to take out the princess for a particular reason. We don't know why, but the princess being alive apparently is going to cause a lot of problems where we saw images of like doomsday level stuff. Superman's cape, Wonder Woman's like something's gonna happen. And that's why Cersei has seen the future in some type of way that bad things are gonna happen. And she's about to show everybody the future. So, start of the next episode, we're probably going to get that future shown to us to see what it is and try to figure out what the problem is. Like, why does she need to be dispatched to save the world? Like, because again, I wasn't expecting that angle because James Gunn is on it. So, what's the deal? What's the issue?
Yeah, because this is a very compelling twist. It's something that I'm definitely looking forward to. Because again, like you look at the Sons of Themyscira and think, nah, this ain't gonna be much. They're just like a rogue renegade, just brand of people who just go off in the woods and have a couple and just unload some stress, if you will. For them to have be served in Cersei in this capacity, something is definitely up because we know why they're serving her, but ultimately the fact that she would be willing to take help from people like this, maybe should have caused us to raise a few more eyebrows just a little early on. Because if her big picture is trying to save Wonder Woman, I'm going to be the first person to be just a tad bit curious as to your motives, young lady, because you guys aren't besties, and you really haven't been.
I mean,
So,
if Wonder Woman can be dispatched, then Cersei can be dispatched. So self-preservation's got to be in there somewhere.
got to always be hidden in there somewhere, and as with all good villains, self-preservation is almost always the name of the game. If you want to keep preserving your rights on this channel, be sure to hit that lovely red subscribe button. Greatly helps us out as we are currently so close to being monetized thanks to you, the viewer. We appreciate each and every one of you checking out our amazing videos. We have Craven right around the corner, Dragon Ball Daima, and I'll have my recap for War of the Rohirrim, as well as some other great content right around the corner for you, the Geek Variants. And just remember, I'm back on Baldur's Gate 3, baby. Let's get it. I've been Brent for Geek Variants with the man, the myth, the marvel. We'll see you in the next one.